I'm going to try and show you my best way of making a DEM now from a random height map that you found on the internet or a .tiff off a LiDAR website for your country, and how to import it into Giant Editor quite simply by using QGIS, GIMP, and Giant Editor. So I've already downloaded some, but I'll tell you where I've downloaded them from and what you need to download. So the FS25 tutorial, that's just a blank map, completely set up, ready to go. Obviously, we don't need this, so we can delete that because we're going to make a new one. The tutorial tiff, then, these are the ones that I've made for what we need to make this merged image, which will be our what do you call it? Our DEM. So we're going to start with Google Chrome or Internet. Go to qgis.org/download, and you can either get the long-term version or the latest version, which will be the software that we use to read the .tiff files correctly to export. I use Data Map Wales. There are many others around that you can also use. Like for England, and there's also some for different countries as well, and they all have different resolutions. But what you need to do is, for instance, here, I know these are 1000 by 1000. Here, there's 3 then, is what you need. But when you click on them, you need 9 tiles around. Right, you need the center one plus the 8 around it. And you all want to download them in the DTM download, not the DSM. The DTM is what you want. So once you've got them, what do we do then? Well, we start up QGIS. And QGIS is a good software to be using, as I've used it quite a bit. And that's how I made Taverns one. So we now need, I've done this a bit weird. You won't have the XML files if you haven't done this. We're going to drag and drop this in. We're going to click on the one, and now we have our terrain. To make it nice and easy, we're just going to go to raster, miscellaneous, merge, select all, and you're going to click run. So there's 2 ways that you can do this. So we can obviously shut down all of the things here, because we don't need them, and then we can turn them off, because they're just the single individual ones which we don't need. So the middle 2000 now, over the 3000 is what we need, which is here. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it through import and export here to map image, and if we do a scale of 1 to 1 of the layer merged, I'll go 1 to 1. I think I've done this right, and then merge, and then save it, overwrite it. I may have done this the wrong size. Yes. I'm going to go project export, export map to image. Go on here. That's all fine. Put this to 200 at least, just so we have a bit more what we need. And then we should have a tidy size map, which we can come down to, but we need it to be at least 3000. Let's try again. Obviously it wasn't high enough. So we need to export map to image. As we do to calculate from there, let's go, I don't know, 300? What DPI does that give us? A bit too high, 250? That works. We'll lock that. Go 300, 3000 by 3000, because then it's exact at 250. And we're done. So we're going to save that onto merged, like so. That's one way of doing it. This one will still give you bumps, which I found out because of 32-bit depth. And the other way then is you can go to here, export, save as, and then you go to project and your CRS, and do it from merged, 1 to 1, don't need to save it to map, and then you're going to save as a geotiff instead, and then you can say merged. So there are two different ways to do it, but the only thing is then you do need to convert the .tiff file over with a converter to PNG. So if we go to this one, we need to open up GIMP. We go File, Open, Desktop, Tutorial. You can, and they both work in here. I just don't know how you export the TIFF file from here, which is this, to get it to show like this in GIMP. I don't know if you can export this one here as a PNG, and see if that makes any difference. But I can't actually say what it will do. So you can try it. Go here, save the resolution, and export. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And from what I can see, no, it just comes out black, like white. So that's one thing I need to try and figure out. So this is what we have. Right, with this we need to go to canvas size, and obviously joined together. We need to go 2049, 2049. Can't change that, and you want to press center to get the right one, and then resize. Now we can export as. Obviously, we'll change this now to DEM. And we're going to export. So, I don't know if you actually need to click on them. Oh, and then obviously have it in the grey and export. And now we don't need this. It'll shut it off. We can open this up. So we've got this one now, which is 3000. We'll open up the properties of this one. You can see it's 32-bit depth. Open this one. You can now see that this is 16 at 249. So now we can open up the tutorial one. Data. We're going to Control C on our DEM, click in the folder, Control V. Now it's in here. Now we've got the job of seeing what it looks like in game. Load up giant header to 10. Open mod. Open your blank map. And then give it a second to load. Once it decides to load up, and this is what it'll look like. So we've now got our nice terrain in, which you can see where the roads go. Goes up onto a nice bit, back down, nice rolling hills with a nice river here and here, with a mountain range coming in there. You wanted to go more, obviously this is what I'm on about, if you can get the other one from a TIFF to a PNG, you won't have the jagged edges. This is as best as you can get it without a converter. And obviously then, when you got the area, you can use QGIS then. I'll show you again with this, to get the satellite image of this area. It doesn't matter if you can't remember where you took it from. If we obviously go back into here, we can select our, just like this, it should just load in anyway. And this is your .tiff file then, what we couldn't get through. When you're up here, you can click down on Bing and go to your Bing satellite map. It will automatically take you to where the map is, and it'll give you the background and what you need. So, again, with this now, you can same way through with that one. Or you could do the same as what we did here. Export it to image from image. I can't remember what we did to set this to 3000. You could set it to 6, right, or 9000, because it'll give you the nicer resolution. Because this doesn't really matter with this one. So, okay on that. We're going to save it as sat. And there we are. Hopefully I actually saved it as anything good rather than nothing. We'll wait for it to run through. This is what you can generally use to line up what you're doing. I'll cancel this one because I messed it up. Never mind, it won't let me. That's fine. It'll take a minute. Or I can do it again as that. Oh, it's done the task. Save it. And this is where you go wrong. Yeah, I need to try that again. So, project, need to export map to image, layer, image. We want to change this to, I think, what do we say, 250? Yes, it's just show what we need it. And then we'll save it as a sat PNG and overwrite it. It shouldn't take too long to do this then. No. And then when you go into your tutorial one, you should have the satellite picture like that. But I've forgotten to turn the merged off. Do it again. The problem with doing it live. Merged 250. Done. And we will overwrite that now. And now we'll get the right image. Just to double check. Refresh it. There we are. Nice and done. So it's obviously 3000 by 3000. That's fine. So in here, we can now create a primitive plane. Scale this obviously then to 1025 by 1025. That's your base game from the other one, which is your 2 megapixel. But we need to go to 2049, 2049. Now we've got the right one. But if you remember, when we just done that one then, it gave us a weird resolution. So we need it to be at, I think it was 3000. But if we go in here and under the albedo map of that plane, we go into tutorial and we click the satellite. And then it has to convert it over. And it'll do it as it wants you to do it then rather than not. So now that we've got the image, you can obviously tell it's a bit too small. So I think I need, was it 2.8? I think it was set to 2898. So if we go to 898, we go to 898. Not quite. So we need to be at 3000 because this is the exact scale then. Or should have been just a bit off. But that's fine. You can always like match it up and it's all better when you do it that way then. But as you can see, everything works as intended. I wonder what scale this actually would work out at. It is there, and then obviously this is where you just try and work everything out to be as correct as possible. So that's the scale, which is 3102 and 3113. And then you can work out everything for the map from that. And that's how you get your layout. Or the other way then, you can obviously do it where it's exactly the same and just as high resolution. This is how you can paint it down. Not a problem. So you can save that and go ahead, but I will open up the other one, which is my current one, which we are currently working on. Give it a chance to load. So this is what it can look like when you have all correctly convert it over to 16. I haven't smoothed any of these out. It's got the hedges off the DTM, and obviously the riverbed and everything as well. It's quite simple then, because they've already got the roads there for you, and that works great. Also got a different road terrain texture thing that I've done now. I just go on here and we take that off, and that one, you can see that I've added an alpha blend onto the side to one of Oxy's old textures, which works really well. But then this gives the nicer blend through when you add it onto the terrain then, because you can paint obviously ground around, which I haven't done yet, to better maximize it into it. Bit of a ramble, bit of a mess up, but that's like your basic way to make a DEM. Obviously, you still got the old ways of micro DM and all, but this is more of a, I like the terrain, might do it random, or I like the terrain, I like the area, let's make it real life, and follow on like what Oxygen David does and all for the realism side. So, I hope this has been helpful, even though I've rambled a lot, and like the fourth time I've done it because I kept messing it up. The first time I just recorded a black screen for 10 minutes. But I've been Rod to Mod. Thank you for the support in the last two videos. This is just a little bit of an extra add-on, and I'll go back to streaming now as of tomorrow. And I'll start continuing building this map. Thank you for watching.